Some stories are too strange to be true, and yet, they linger in the shadows, whispered from one generation to the next. These tales refuse to fade away, growing with every retelling, haunting the places where they were born. The Philadelphia experiment is one such legend, an enigma that blurs the line between scientific ambition and impossible fantasy, between what we know and what we dare to imagine. It's not just about a ship vanishing, but about our endless curiosity, our fascination with the unknown, and the secrets governments might keep from us. The legend begins in 1943, deep in the chaos of World War II, when the world was desperate for hope and innovation. Every nation was racing for a technological edge, searching for anything that could turn the tide of war in their favor. At the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard, rumors swirled of a top-secret project, one so radical it seemed to defy the laws of physics. The U.S. Navy, it was said, was working to make a warship invisible, not just to enemy eyes, but to radar itself. At the heart of this story is the USS Eldridge, a destroyer escort that would become the centerpiece of a secret and dangerous experiment, shrouded in mystery and speculation. Some versions of the tale even claim that Einstein's elusive unified field theory was involved, with scientists attempting to bend light and radar waves around the ship, rendering it completely undetectable. But what supposedly happened went far beyond mere invisibility. Witnesses would later claim the ship vanished from sight, teleported miles away, and returned with a changed, traumatized crew. Over 80 years, the story has grown from a handful of strange letters into a sprawling conspiracy theory, fueled by rumors, half-truths, and unanswered questions. It's inspired countless books, films, documentaries, and endless debate among skeptics and believers alike. Could humanity have stumbled upon a power it wasn't ready to control? Or did fear and imagination fill in the blanks left by secrecy? Or is this just a modern myth born from misunderstandings, wartime paranoia, and the irresistible allure of the unknown? To find out, we must sift through the evidence, the wild claims, and the official denials, searching for the truth hidden beneath decades of speculation. The Philadelphia experiment remains a mystery that refuses to die, a legend that continues to haunt the docks, and the imagination of all who hear its tale. The heart of the legend is astonishing. On October 28, 1943, the USS Eldridge didn't just vanish from sight. It vanished from reality itself, according to the story. This was no ordinary military experiment. It was said to be a top-secret attempt to make a warship invisible to enemy radar. But what happened next would become one of the most bizarre tales in naval history. Witnesses described a strange greenish fog swirling around the ship as powerful generators activated, filling the air with a low, humming vibration that seemed to shake the very water around the vessel. The ship became invisible, then reportedly disappeared from Philadelphia entirely, leaving behind only the eerie silence of the empty harbor and stunned onlookers who could hardly believe their eyes. Moments later, it allegedly materialized in Norfolk, Virginia, over 200 miles away, shocking onlookers who had no idea how a massive ship could appear out of thin air. This wasn't just cloaking, it was teleportation, a leap across space that defied all known laws of physics and left witnesses questioning what was possible. After a brief appearance, the Eldridge vanished again, reappearing back in Philadelphia as if nothing had happened, but the truth was far stranger. But something had gone horribly wrong. The crew was in chaos and the ship's return was anything but normal. The legend claims sailors were fused into the ship's metal, their bodies trapped in the hull, while others were driven insane by the experience. And some suffered bizarre side effects, like randomly becoming invisible or phasing in and out of reality, never fully returning to normal. Tales even tell of a sailor vanishing during a bar fight, never to return, leaving his friends and witnesses terrified and confused. These gruesome details elevate the story from rumor to chilling horror, making it a legend that haunts the imagination. The experiment, it said, unlocked forces beyond human comprehension, forces that perhaps should have remained untouched. Whether fact or fiction, these claims are what make the Philadelphia experiment unforgettable, a story that continues to inspire books, movies, and endless speculation. It's a story of science gone awry, and the human cost of tampering with the unknown, a cautionary tale that reminds us how little we truly understand about the universe. Every legend has its origin, and the story of the Philadelphia experiment is no exception. It's a tale that begins not with a government official or a scientist, but with a single enigmatic man, For the Philadelphia experiment, the spark was Carl Meredith Allen, better known by his alias Carlos Allende. He was a drifter, a merchant seaman, and a man with a reputation for spinning wild stories. In 1956, Allende sent a series of bizarre, rambling letters to Morris K. Jessup, an astronomer and author who was already fascinated by UFOs and the unexplained. The letters were filled with cryptic warnings and incredible claims. Allende claimed he had personally witnessed the USS Eldridge vanish from sight while serving on a nearby ship. He described a swirling green fog enveloping the vessel and recounted the crew's horrific fate, some fused into the metal, others driven mad. He insisted the event was the result of the Navy secretly applying Einstein's unified field theory, a concept that supposedly could bend light and matter, making objects invisible or even teleporting them. Jessup, both intrigued and skeptical, pressed Allende for concrete proof. But no evidence ever materialized, only more letters, each stranger than the last. Allende's replies remained vague, filled with cryptic references and odd warnings, never providing the solid evidence Jessup requested. The story might have faded into obscurity, but in 1957, the Navy's Office of Naval Research received a copy of Jessup's book, The Case for the UFO, heavily annotated with wild notes about the experiment, alien technology, and government cover-ups. The ONR, puzzled by the strange annotations, asked Jessup to review the book. He immediately recognized the handwriting as Allende's. This odd correspondence, combined with the Navy's official curiosity, breathed new life into the legend, giving it an air of legitimacy it never had before. Allende's unverified claims, though never substantiated, became the bedrock of the Philadelphia experiment myth, fueling speculation and debate. Jessup's involvement, as a respected scientist and author, lent the story a credibility that captured the imagination of believers and skeptics alike. The Philadelphia experiment was no longer just a sailor's rumor, it had become a full-blown conspiracy, complete with a mysterious paper trail and official intrigue, and for many, that was all it took to ignite imaginations and keep the legend alive for generations to come. The Navy's interest in the annotated book led to the Varro edition, a limited printing that became a cult artifact. This official curiosity gave the story credibility, fueling its spread beyond UFO circles. The legend grew, retold in books and documentaries, each version adding new, unverified details. The lack of evidence became proof of a cover-up for believers. The 1959 suicide of Jessup added a tragic, conspiratorial twist. Some claimed he was silenced for knowing too much. Over time, anonymous survivors and new embellishments kept the myth alive. The Philadelphia experiment became a self-sustaining legend, evolving with every retelling. It was no longer just Allende's story. It was everyone's. The U.S. Navy has consistently denied the Philadelphia experiment ever happened. Official records show the USS Eldridge was nowhere near Philadelphia on the alleged date. It was on a shakedown cruise in the Bahamas. The ship's logs contain no mention of strange events or green fog, so where did the story come from? During One-Two, the Navy did conduct real experiments at the Philadelphia shipyard, degaussing, a process to protect ships from magnetic mines. This involved wrapping ships in cables and running electrical currents, mysterious to outsiders but not supernatural. Veterans of the Eldridge recall nothing out of the ordinary. The legend, it seems, grew from a kernel of misunderstood truth. The Navy's stance is clear: the experiment is pure fiction. When we compare the legend to real science, the story unravels. Einstein's unified field theory was never completed, let alone weaponized by the Navy. Making a ship invisible by bending light is still far beyond our capabilities. The energy required would be astronomical, and teleportation remains science fiction. Quantum teleportation exists, but it doesn't move matter, just information between particles. The idea of men fused into steel defies physics and biology. No known process could merge human bodies with metal. These details make for a gripping tale, but have no scientific basis. The Philadelphia experiment asks us to abandon reality for fantasy. It's a story that thrives on the impossible. Despite its implausibility, the Philadelphia experiment endures in popular culture. The 1984 film brought the legend to a mainstream audience, cementing its imagery: green fog, terrified sailors, and government cover-ups. The story appears in TV shows, documentaries, and video games, reaching new generations. Its appeal lies in the blend of secrecy, science, and tragedy, The legend taps into our distrust of authority and fascination with hidden truths. It's become a modern myth, exploring our fears of the unknown and unchecked technology. The story persists not because it's true, but because it's powerful. Its real legacy is the question it leaves us: what if? At its core, the Philadelphia experiment rests on the unverified claims of Carlos Allende, a drifter with a vivid imagination. No corroborating evidence has ever surfaced. The Varro edition and Navy's brief interest were more curiosity than confirmation. Jessup's tragic death was likely unrelated to any conspiracy, but it fueled the myth. The legend grew from a mix of misunderstood science, eccentric personalities, and Cold War paranoia. It's a case study in how stories evolve and take on lives of their own. The Philadelphia experiment is less about a real event and more about the power of storytelling. It shows how myths are born, spread, and endure. In the end, it's a legend built on imagination, not evidence. So was the Philadelphia experiment real, or just a captivating myth? The evidence, official records, eyewitness accounts, and science points to fiction. Yet the story endures, reminding us of our need for wonder and mystery. It's a cautionary tale about how rumors can become accepted truth. In an age of instant information, it's more relevant than ever to question sources and demand evidence. The legend's persistence shows the power of a good story. Whether or not the Eldridge ever vanished, the tale has become part of our culture. It inspires debate, creativity, and curiosity. Ultimately, the choice is ours: accept the facts or believe in the legend. The Philadelphia experiment sails on, not in history, but in our imagination.